month. Let's start with AJ Styles and D'Lo Brown. AJ defends the belt basically every week this month.
Yeah, I didn't even put that together, but he does.
I think there's 1 week where he doesn't. It's the week where there's the D'Lo Russo match. AJ has the week off. But yeah, he's just defending the belt mostly against D'Lo and multiple times against D'Lo on individual shows.
Was that a 3 separate matches, each one for the title, or was that was at best 2 out of 3, right?
Yeah, that was your 3 stages of hell style match where with each different stipulation.
But 3 distinct matches.
Yes, just like last time. You admit it. Thank you.
Nope. No, like I said, it's 3 separate matches if there's space in between the matches.
Ugh, there was space in
if
between
it's
the matches.
one right after the other,
short.
that is the same match.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Rehashing old podcast problems.
Well, stop being wrong.
How dare you.
And I won't have to bring it up again.
NWA-TNA pay-per-view number 52, July 2nd, 2003. Jeff Jarrett does not have a title shot because he was beaten up a couple times, so he's not there. So AJ Styles is like, Jarrett's not here, so I'm going to give a title shot to you, Frankie Kazarian.
And Frankie's like, sure. Thanks.
Kazarian, who had just beaten Saban the week prior, so he was in line for an X Division title shot, then instead is given a World Championship match against the phenomenal AJ Styles.
Yeah, and I was excited for this too.
So yeah, that was the main event of that show, Styles against Frankie. This is the show we did the watch along for as well, so if you'd like to hear our thoughts about that and GLEAT, you can go to tnachad.com. Yeah, good little match, nothing special. The most notable thing was that Frankie became the first person in TNA history to take the Styles Clash the wrong way.
How many people do you think it ends up happening to in TNA specifically?
It's not that many. Who's, like... I think there's one that they do it on purpose. I think it was Stevie Richards. They did. Stevie Richards takes it the wrong way too, but I think that might have been like a deliberate do it as an angle thing.
Ah, the Roderick Strong.
So yeah, it's the classic. When you take the Styles Clash, you either put your head back or keep it perfectly still and you'll be fine. The only thing you don't want to do is put your head forward, which I know is instinctively wrong for pro wrestlers who do want to tuck their head.
Counterintuitive to almost everything in pro wrestling.
Where you always want to tuck your head when you take a bump. But the Styles Clash is the one. You do not tuck your head to take that bump or you'll break your goddamn neck. So Frankie tucked his neck, dropped the Styles Clash right in his head. Turns out he was fine. He had a sore neck after taking the Styles Clash finisher on the top of his head, but did not require medical attention, and he was wrestling the next week. So it did not end in disaster, but it is notable that it took 13 months for somebody to take the Styles Clash the wrong way. I would have thought Styles and Frankie would have known each other well enough for Frankie to know how to take a Styles Clash.
Well, where would they have been interacting with at this point?
I don't know. I would have thought like AJ would have worked like West Coast Indies at this stage.
Yeah, 2004, would we have the early PWG stuff at this point?
And like Frankie would have been a name enough to work East Coast Indies at this stage, I would have said. He did Ring of Honor at this stage, right?
He just debuted in Ring of Honor the month previous.
Because like Frankie is a guy who goes like Frankie's been wrestling since I think 2000, 2001, maybe earlier. So like he's not a new name on the scene.
Yeah, I think you said he was 99, didn't you? Because you're like surprised that he was like a 90s guy.
Yeah, he goes all the way back. So like he's not a new name on the scene. He's been like one of the consistent, this is one of the cool indie guys. He's been working the WWA shows as well. So like he's definitely seen a Styles Clash.
I was going to say he's also been breaking out during, 2003, 2004, in the time where AJ Styles is one of the biggest names on the indies.
And is literally everywhere and doing the Styles Clash everywhere.
Yeah.
But listen, when you're in the ring, heated moment to just tuck your head, wrestler instinct kicks in, you get dropped in your head. It's very unfortunate.
Listen, I don't want to say much about this match was heated.
That's true. This match was perfectly fine. They had a good, fine little match that was pretty unremarkable for the most part.
They went out there and wrestled.
Yeah, D'Lo came out afterwards as brawl set up. More AJ Styles, D'Lo Brown stuff, which takes us to NWA-TNA pay-per-view number 53. In which the show is built around AJ facing D'Lo for the title in the main event, and D'Lo has a big equalizer for Russo Liam. We'll talk about the Jarrett Legend and Russo promo when we get the Jarrett and Legend in a minute. Oh,
yeah, there was a really cool chicken coop.
Yeah, so there was the like chicken coop cage the weasel cage, as Mike Tenay called it, calling back to Bobby Heenan.
One thing I appreciate about it is that later on, Styles bursts out of it, which makes Russo look like a giant wimp.
Yeah, it's really, if you look at it, it is not the most like structurally sound cage. It does feel like a cage that could be shattered at any given moment.
And was.
Yeah, again, a good match. I would have thought, was it the best match of theirs this month? And it's probably the latter match of the 3 or 4.
Yeah, I liked the ladder match more, and I liked the submission match more. Honestly, you probably even liked that opener more.
They did beat the hell out of D'Lo after the match. My favorite part of which is that they locked him inside the chicken coop and then started hitting it with a baseball bat. And I'm like, you guys didn't think this attack through, did you?
Maybe it was just to intimidate.
So they were just hitting the wood. They were just bashing the wood.
So that's pretty scary, though.
Yeah, but they protected him from the baseball bat shots.
Yeah, but he's like, oh no, this is scary. It's loud noises.
AJ Styles does the Fosbury flop in this match, and I'm not sure is it the first time he's done it, but it is the moment that Mike Tenay and Don West give the move its name.
Yeah, which is like funny because the Pele was that exact scenario last month.
Yeah, so he does the Fosbury flop, and then Mike Tenay, it's like Fosbury at the Olympics, and Don's like, oh yeah, 1974 or whatever it was. Don remembered the year of the Olympics, and yeah, I love when like wrestler move names come from like just organic ideas on commentary instead of like, this is the name of the move.
Yeah, because also a lot of the times the names suck.
So yeah, this is the Fosbury flop.
Yeah, and it's one of AJ's coolest things that he does.
NWA-TNA pay-per-view number 53. The story of the show is that D'Lo wants to get 5 minutes in the ring with Vince Russo, so he has to defeat Sonny Siaki, which he does quite handily. He does a sick Undertaker dive in that freaking Siaki match, though.
D'Lo's crazy.
Yeah, like, he does the dive, and his head goes back and his legs go... He, like, ragdolls in the air as he's doing the Undertaker dive. It's incredible.
And half the time he does it and barely makes stuff. And you're just like, D'Lo. And then he's like, D'Lo. To
be fair, barely making it is like half of what makes it good.
Yeah, fair enough. It's like Kaito did a Tobacon Hilo over the top rope. He did like Ricochet's corner version and he just like barely got over it.
Yeah.
It's very scary.
It's ideal. So, defeating Siaki, he got 5 minutes with Russo at the end of the show, and it just turned out D'Lo got his ass kicked.
I was pissed by this.
Yeah, like...
How dare you promise me Vince Russo getting beaten up and then not deliver?
Yeah, at least you could, like, give a little bit of D'Lo whooping his ass before a beatdown, but, like, immediately AJ, Legends, Siaki, and Trinity were out, and they just beat the shit out of D'Lo 5-on-1.
I did like him fighting off everyone. I thought he looked pretty good then, but then once they overpowered him, they got him. He did a really awesome switch with the handcuffs. Like, that was smooth.
D'Lo, very adept with the handcuffing people to things.
Yeah, like, because Siaki's going up and he's trying to handcuff D'Lo to the top rope, and D'Lo, like, does some fucking Ocean's 11 shit and, like, twists the damn handcuffs around and puts it on Siaki. I was like, that shit was so smooth.
D'Lo is clearly a magician.
I was saying that because I was literally watching Ocean's 11 while this was happening.
What, you were watching something else while watching TNA?
Yeah, I had to leave halfway through because I'm like, oh man, Ocean's 11 is too good. It's distracting me.
Literally halfway through the segment, it's like, oh.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, this movie's good.
So yeah, D'Lo does get none of his 5 minutes with Russo. He just gets his ass kicked. Poor guy.
Yeah, I'm devastated by it.
And that brings us to NWA-TNA pay-per-view number 54, in which there's the big AJ Styles, D'Lo 2 out of 3 falls World Championship match. So there's a singles match, a submission match in the middle of the show, and a ladder match at the end of the show for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship.
So you loved this first match, and I need you to tell me why.
Did I love it?
3 1/4.
That's like a good little match.
But by TNA standards, that's like the best match of the month.
It is among the better matches of the month. I thought it was just a good little match because they opened the show, so they had a bunch of heat. It's nothing like special. D'Lo did a freaking moonsault fall away slam.
Yeah, that did rule.
Which I don't think I thought, like, I know Josh Alexander does that, and who else someone else does that, don't they?
Bandito
does it.
And Paige, Hangman.
Yeah, but no, he doesn't. Does he do the flip with it?
He flips with it.
And yeah, Moose has done it before as well. Like, I know it's a modern indie move, but I didn't think somebody was doing this all the way back in 2003.
And like, think of the guys who were saying also do that, like Hangman, Moose, Bandito, like really crazy athletic dudes.
Yeah.
So D'Lo, fucking up there.
So basically entirely for that moonsault follow-away slam. But I thought it was a hot opener. I thought, like, as I said, like, opening with AJ and D'Lo, the crowd were very hot. It's like, as I said, 3 1/4. It's not the best match you'll ever see in your life, but it's a good little match.
I don't know, 3's a very meaningful for me in the NWA-TNA. I like a 3 is a sign that I should get excited for this match.
They had a submission match in the middle of the show. Siaki interfered, by the way, so AJ went 1-0 up. So they had a submission match in the middle of the show where they were like Styles and Russo were freaking out backstage because they didn't want it to go to the ladder match. But so they attacked D'Lo before the match. Siaki distracted them, and then Styles hit a like the best part of this match was before the match even happened. That chop lock on the ramp looked great.
I thought this match was really cool. I like the back and forth. I like D'Lo stretching him at the end.
So they had a basic ass submission match.
Yeah.
This was the match where there was a split screen of D'Lo Brown's butt.
Yes.
He hit what I think it was a sky high. I can't remember what the exact move was. And they're like, oh, let's go to a replay. And they cut to a...
And they're like, nope.
And the replay is just the live shot split in two. But it just happens to be while D'Lo Brown is like getting up and bending over. So it's just a split screen shot where D'Lo's butt is split between both of the screens. It's very good stuff.
I like that Tenay and Don were clearly like taken aback by this.
Yes, it's like, oh, let's go to replay. They go to the replay. It's like, technical difficulties. I'm sorry.
And then we go to the main event, the ladder match, which I thought was pretty fucking nuts.
Yeah, like they do a bunch of wild shit. The most notable part where D'Lo sets AJ up on a table outside of the ring, gets to the top of a ladder inside of the ring, and dives from the ladder inside of the ring all the way to the floor through a table.
And a real rickety-ass ladder too, by the way.
Yeah, that ladder was like shaking, and it's like, oh god, D'Lo, you're going to die. And that's what knocked AJ Styles out.
Wait, really?
He was knocked out for a half minute after he took that to the table. It was wild.
Wow.
It was a great moment where like the ladder rebounded, where like they did a spot and D'Lo fell, and then the ladder rebounded and fell on D'Lo, but D'Lo saw it coming so he could actually sell it properly, and it wasn't like super dangerous. It was really cool.
Yeah, like I was thinking about saying, like half of the offense in this match was ladders falling on D'Lo.
The poor guy.
It happened a lot, and every time I was like, again?
You just could not stop ladders falling on him.
It was either sometimes they were just falling on him, and then sometimes it was AJ pushing them into him, and then sometimes it was AJ throwing them into him. But ladders colliding with D'Lo was most of this match.
Yeah, so the finish was they both climbed the ladder, they both got the title, they both fell to the mat. Rudy Charles came out, they had a moment of deliberation, but because the ladder match was a draw, they determined that AJ would remain the champion.
So I want to give this match some credit here. I bit on D'Lo winning. I was like, did D'Lo win the NWA fucking championship?
Because, yeah, when he hit that frog splash off the ladder through the table, AJ was literally dead. He was literally unconscious. So...
Yeah, it was a very long walk.
Siaki interfered, didn't he, so that he wouldn't win.
Yeah. But I bit it for a second. I was like, holy shit, D'Lo's winning this.
I also enjoyed that Vince Russo was banned from ringside for this match.
The camera cuts.
They cut to a shot of him like looking through a small hole in the stage so that he could
like a fucking pervert.
He was spying on the match because he was banned from ringside and he wanted to watch it.
We should splice that and then put it into other wrestling moments.
Where it's just like Rock, Hogan, and Russo's like, huh?
Yeah. It's NXT 2.0, and he's like,
So they went to a 1-1 draw, I guess, or 2-2 draw, depending on how.
1-1-1.
Yeah, it was 1-1-1. That makes more sense. So that Styles retained the belt, but there is nothing solved here between Styles and D'Lo Brown. And then last show of the month, there is some dissension within the ranks, Liam, of Vince Russo's new stable.
I hate this company, man. I'm so sick of tag teams and stables not getting along.
So AJ Styles is out with Sonny Siaki. Siaki's doing his promo. There's a sign in the background, by the way, if you're looking at it, that's blurred, that the sign says, Siaki aced your mama's hole, which, you know what, maybe shouldn't have been blurred.
Well, I guess with the new direction, perhaps they thought that was too much.
No, I think that's not blurred in the original. That's a modern blur for Impact Plus.
Oh, yeah, that's stupid. Like with the other shit that's gone through.
There's, if you notice earlier in the month, there's a double whammy sign that's blurred. That's a homophobic slur against Jeremy Borash, so that one is very understandably blurred.
I didn't even get that one.
I think it was one of the shows. I couldn't see exactly what it said, but he could make out more or less the subtext of what it said. because it was a little blurry on the original version I had, but it was very clearly homophobic, directed at JB. But yeah, so Siaki's in the ring. Siaki's talking about how his magic stick pleases all the women, and then Mike Tenay and Don West are like, magic stick?
I thought Magic Stick was gonna get over. I thought that if the heel section was still around, Magic Stick would have been a big thing over the next month.
So Styles and Siaki are out together. They're arguing with each other. Styles tells Siaki to know his role, and then the crowd chant, "Know your role," at Siaki.
Because he's the Rock.
Yeah, when they tend to know your role, and we're like, because the idea here is Russo isn't here tonight. He does have an interview with Mike Tenay, but he's not actually.
But also,
in the building.
AJ's right. Shut the fuck up, Siaki.
You have been nothing. I suppose he's been ex-champ, but other than that, you've been nothing but a mid-card nerd for your entire TNA run so far. Please do know your role.
And also, AJ kills him with one line. He's like, yeah, when you're the top champion, you can do that stuff. And he's like, you wouldn't know anything about that.
Ooh. D'Lo comes out then, and already in July 2003, we're having characters talk about how they want to see the old AJ Styles.
Need the old Hangman. Need the old Austin.
Like, this company is 13 months old, and we're already like, we want the AJ we knew and loved, not this AJ. And like, by the way, AJ turned heel in like September 2002. Like, he was not a wholesome babyface for more than like 2 weeks before he had the weird on and off again heel turns with Jerry Lynn, and then actually turned heel in like September, October, because October he was doing the red matches where he was firmly a heel.
He's been more of a heel than he has a face in TNA. Even like when he was doing the D'Lo tag stuff, he was the dickhead and D'Lo was like the cool guy.
Yeah, so like the entirety of TNA, like the old AJ Styles is this, frankly.
Yeah, like AJ's just always been like this.
He has never been a babyface for long. Like, he was a babyface at the very start, and he was a babyface for like July. And as mentioned, like the Jerry Lynn stuff just had those two constantly going back and forth and who he went to root for. And then he was an actual heel for the entirety of like being managed by Warner Plumtree. So, like, he's been a heel this whole time, D'Lo. There's never been an old AJ Styles.
He means like Ring of Honor first year AJ.
He means WCW AJ Styles. He wants to see him team with Air Paris again.
He wants Air Styles. Let's go.
So Siaki and Styles attacked D'Lo. Eric Watts made the save and then booked a big cage match for next week for the world title.
Biggest babyface in the biz.
Why is Eric Watts booking cage matches? We'll get into that in a moment.
I'm so excited.
So yeah, you would have thought a month built around Styles and D'Lo feuding and wrestling a bunch would have been a little better than it was. But like as mentioned, of the 4 matches they had this month, I thought one of them was, I didn't like the submission match much. I thought it was fine. The opener of the 2 out of 3 falls, a lot of fun. The ladder match, they just did bonkers shit. And then the other match was pretty good, nothing special.
Yeah, nothing great from them.
I thought the match where AJ became #1 contender was their best match. When
yes,
D'Lo
I agree with that as well.
Did wild shit again.
And also, I'm kind of like, it's the AJ Jerry Lynn thing where it's like, I'm kind of sick of this fucking matchup now. Especially 3 matches in one night. It kind of kills it.
Yeah, and 4 matches in 1 month.
Yeah. After just having like 2 more the month before.
But you have, again, like all the AJ Styles Jerry Lynn matches, you have 1 more to look forward to.
Great. And then like it'll be like, this is the Wrestling Observer feud of the year. And I'll be like, well, fuck me.
Alex Marvez will be like, oh, there's never been better wrestling than AJ Styles versus D'Lo Brown.
He loved that submission match.
He's like, that ladder spot was the most spectacular thing I've ever seen in my life.
Until I saw Hangman Page, MJF, and Kip Sabian.
How dare you. No, never mind. It's not until September. Damn it.
What?
There's an AJ Jerry Lynn world title match coming up. I was hoping it would be in August.
Fool.
It's not until September, so you will have a D'Lo match next month and then a Jerry Lynn match again in September.
How dare you spoil for me that he doesn't lose the title to D'Lo next month?
Oh, I'm so sorry. So that's all of your AJ D'Lo stuff.